Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
In my last video about SpongeBob SquarePants, I explained how it was my all-time favorite show when I was a little kid. From the ages of like 6 to 12, I would binge watch SpongeBob whenever I could. The first 3 seasons, what I like to call the Hillenburg era, were absolute gold, especially seasons 1 and 2. It's no secret that after Steven Hillenburg stepped down as showrunner, the show kinda went downhill, but I've already touched on all of this in my last SpongeBob video. If you want to see my other video about SpongeBob, I'll leave a link to it down in the description. It's a really good video if I do say so myself, so check it out if you want to, no pressure. But a few months ago, there was some drama that surfaced about 2 SpongeBob episodes that caught the banhammer. IGN would post an article about it, which seemed to have sparked a ton of other news outlets to touch on the subject, including Entertainment Weekly, the New York Times, and even NBC News. This story came as a shock to many who always thought of SpongeBob SquarePants as just another lighthearted children's show. The first episode to get banned is from season 12, called Quarantined Crab, and the storyline is focused around a virus breakout and people getting quarantined. To quote ABC7 New York, the removal of the quarantined crab comes during a time of increased anti-Asian violence in the United States. The episode's storyline reflects feelings of increased isolation and hatred that many Asian communities have experienced since the COVID-19 pandemic began. This episode, though it does touch more of a serious topic given current events with the pandemic and everything, is not exactly the one I'm focusing on because I've never seen it myself. By the time season 12 had aired, I was long past watching SpongeBob, so I can't really comment on that one. The second banned episode, and the one we're primarily focusing on in this video, is called Midlife Crustacean. It focuses on Mr. Krabs realizing that he's getting old and doing anything he can to feel just a little bit younger again. Now, if you recall this episode, then you might remember why it's been banned, but if not, then buckle up because today, on our nostalgic walk down memory lane, we are looking at the banned episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, Midlife Crustacean. This episode has been out of Nickelodeon's circulation since 2018, but just a few months ago in March, it got taken down from Paramount Plus and Amazon Prime Video. The episode aired in 2003 and played in reruns on Nickelodeon for 15 years before it was deemed not child appropriate by the network. The episode itself begins at Mr. Krabs' house as he wakes up early in the morning to K-Old, the all oldies station on the radio. His old crusty eyes crack open like he has pink eye, and his back, as well as every other bone in his body, cracks as he trudges out of his hammock.
Get yourself, old man, you got multiple chins 'cause you're old.
He cracks his way downstairs to see the bran-crusted breakfast that his daughter has made for him. The eggs are covered in bran, as is the bacon, fruit, drink, and even the fork. Then Mr. Krabs has to choke down his daily horse pill, and he continues on with the rest of his day after butchering some new hip lingo with his daughter Pearl.
Don't worry, Pops. We're almost across the street.
Hey, get away from me. I don't need no snot-nosed little... Sorry you had to see that.
Things get extra awkward when Mr. Krabs comes across some kids that are playing ball, and he offers to join them, and of course it goes about as well as you'd expect an old strange man trying to play with some random kids to go.
Hey, mister, could you throw the ball back over here?
Hey, how's about I join you kids?
That's okay. You can keep it. Why do old people always have to ruin the fun?
Things get worse for Mr. Krabs from there as he goes to work and he's sitting at a table sulking in his elderly turmoil.
Well, no wonder. It's all old and dried out, like that man right there. Now put that thing where it belongs, in the garbage.
Well, little Patty, we're two of a kind.
Patrick then comes in the Krusty Krab and is just super hyped about a fun-filled night on the town that him and SpongeBob have planned.
You all ready for the big night out tonight?
Yeah, it's gonna rock!
Are you ready to go crazy?
I'm already hearing voices!
Are you ready to...
SpongeBob, Patrick, don't you mind?
Let's continue this conversation in private, Patrick. I think some people are eavesdropping.
Well, how rude of some people!
Mr. Krabs catches wind and basically invites himself to come with them. Patrick is worried that Mr. Krabs won't pass the vibe check, but after performing the secret cool guy handshake, they agree to take Mr. Krabs out with them.
I'm waiting, old man. How do you do? Fine, and you? All right, you're in, but I'm not happy about it.
You passed the test, Mr. Krabs.
Later that night, they pick up Mr. Krabs and they all go out rolling in the most powerful chick magnet in town. Obviously, they get ridiculed by a dude driving in a hot rod, that's just a given. First stop, the wash.
And above all, keep it cool.
Cool. Gotcha.
Hello, gang. SpongeBob's back.
Let's party!
Any port in the store?
Wait a minute. This is a laundromat.
After feeling a little let down about their fun night, they assure Mr. Krabs that this is just stop number 1 on their night of debauchery. Next stop, picking up trash right under the freeway. How's that for debauchery, eh?
So are you feeling that wild and crazy feeling, Mr. Krabs?
Not yet.
Don't worry, you will. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
After the pool, they go to ride kiddie rides outside of the bargain mart, then they go to the dentist to get their teeth yanked on, and they even lay some tile on top of a shed roof.
Off thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs.
Now, just saying, this quick 4-second scene is probably my favorite scene in this entire episode, but I love D&D, so I'm biased. Needless to say, I'd be feeling it right now if I was Mr. Krabs.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Mr. Krabs is really feeling it as he flings the kids away with the power of his eyes and throws a massive fit. He declares that even an old crustacean like him can recognize that SpongeBob and Patrick are nerds who wouldn't know a good time if it bit them in the aft end. But Patrick says one thing that quickly gets Mr. Krabs' attention.
I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid. The what? I said, I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid.
They promise Mr. Krabs a good old time by saying that they're gonna break into a woman's house and raid her dresser for her undergarments, which is just confusing. They spent the whole night riding around on a tandem bike, hanging out at a laundromat, picking up trash, playing D&D, playing with children, and now they're gonna break into a woman's house? Like, what the hell are they thinking? They use a ladder to break into a house from a second-story window, then they prowl through the dark, and Mr. Krabs pulls out a pair of underwear from a drawer.
Eugene?
Mother?
What are you doing with my bloomers?
Well, why didn't you tell me this was my mother's house?
Why didn't you ask?
After busting him being a creep, Mr. Krabs' mother tells him to go to his room and that he is grounded for the rest of the night. He goes to his room, and SpongeBob shows up in the window to apologize for getting him into this mess.
Good night, Mr. Krabs.
Good night, SpongeBob.
Eugene, lights out.
Yes, Mommy?
And that's all there is to it. This episode got banned for obvious reasons, being that Nick realized it's inappropriate to show kids their favorite cartoon character breaking into someone's house to steal their underwear in the name of debauchery. But I gotta say, as a child who grew up watching SpongeBob SquarePants and saw this episode many times, I turned out just fine. As a kid though, I had the common sense to know that you shouldn't reenact things that you see on TV, and I could tell right from wrong. Even as a young child, I knew good and well that breaking into someone's house just isn't something that you do. But that's just me. I'm sure there's some really impressionable children out there who might get the wrong idea from an episode like this, so I get it. Nickelodeon probably doesn't want to be to blame if some kid got ideas from watching this episode. All in all, I'd say that this was actually a pretty good episode quality-wise, but then again, I'd say that about every single episode that came out in the Hillenburg era before the SpongeBob movie premiered. It may be shrouded in controversy when looking back through the lens of 2021, but hey, at least in the end, Mr. Krabs got what he had coming. But what do you think? I'm not even going to ask if you remember seeing this episode because I'm sure you, much like me, have seen it multiple times. But what's your opinion on it being banned? Do you think it's justified? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and leave a comment so that more people can see it. And if you aren't yet, subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos just like this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.